Hello everyone, FPL Carnage here again. Welcome to my Game Week 28 team selection. We're going to do a quick review of how my Game Week 27 team fared and then take a look at my Game Week 28 team selection. I have a couple of ideas in mind as regards to my transfer plans going into this game week, and I'm going to take a look at why I have decided to bring in some of these players ahead of Game Week 28. So let's take a look at how my team fared in Game Week 27. If you're enjoying this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the end of the video. In Game Week 27, my team scored 46 points, and I had in goal Sanchez at home to Burnley, a game where you would expect a Chelsea clean sheet. Unfortunately, their clean sheet got wiped out in the very dying minutes of that game, and they were also held to a draw against Burnley. Sanchez lost his clean sheet, returning just 2 points. Moving on to my defense, I was doubled up on the Arsenal defenders. I had Timber and Gabriel. Timber managed to get an assist in that game against Spurs over the weekend. Unfortunately, he did get subbed before the 60th minute mark, so he returned just 3 points. Gabriel, who was my second Arsenal defender, returning just 2 points after their clean sheet was wiped in that game against Spurs over the weekend. And then Munoz was my third defender going into that game against Wolves. He picked up one of the first DEFCONs I can remember for a really long time. Got DEFCONs, got some bonus points, and did keep a clean sheet in that game against Wolves. So he returned 9 points as my third defender. Moving on to my midfield, I had Bruno Fernandes, who has gone back-to-back game weeks without a goal or assist or even defensive contributions since returning from injury. Really frustrating at the moment, but I think he's going to get back to form very soon, so I'm not really worried about him. Just 2 points from him. Enzo, who has been a really sad own for the past 3 game weeks, he was also not able to return any points in the game against Burnley, so just the 2 points for him. Rogers, who was my one transfer in going into this game week, also returned just 2 points in that game against Leeds, where they drew 1-1. Villa getting the late goal to secure that draw in that game. Mbeumo, my fourth midfielder, returning an assist in that game against Everton to help Manchester United continue their charge for the top 4 race in this Premier League season. Mbeumo getting an assist, another vital 6 points. He got an assist in the game against West Ham to help them get a draw, and now another assist against Everton with a nice finish from Benjamin Sesko. So just 6 points from him. Semedo getting DEFCON points for the first time for City since he signed. So no goal, no assist for him in the game against Newcastle. Could have actually gotten a couple, missed a few chances here and there, but just the 4 points for him. Up top, I had Erling Haaland, who was my captain, who returned 12 points against Newcastle, got an assist for the second goal. Didn't really, get a lot of chances in that game, but he did well overall game, managed to get an assist for himself, and now that returns 12 points. My second attacker was Thiago, who returned 2 points as well against Brighton. Missed a really good chance in the first half, had a couple of chances here and there, ultimately returning just 2 points as my second attacker. So that's just my team. On my bench, I had Dubravka, who returned 2 points against Chelsea. Mane also 2 points in the game against Crystal Palace. Mukiele with a 1 pointer after getting subbed off due to an injury. Looks to be out for a certain spell. Not really confirmed at the moment. Then Goodmanson with just the 1 point against Aston Villa. I think he had to be subbed off as well in that game. So 46 points. No major movements in ranks, still 1.5. Honestly, hoping to climb up to the top 1 million and then see how far we can progress as the season comes to a close. Still a lot of chips to use, some double game weeks still coming up, so hopefully we can capitalize on those and get a good rank finish. Now we're going to move on to my game week 28 team selection. I have 2 ideas in mind. If you've watched my previous videos, you would see where I talk about the importance of Liverpool assets in their coming run of fixtures. I think they would be a really good own. They have some players that could be differential picks, so I'm going to be talking about a few of them in my team selection that I am looking at bringing in. Sanchez is still my goalkeeper for game week 28. It's one I'm looking at because I could easily just start Dubravka, who is at home to Brentford. It's one I'm actually really contemplating. It's just, you just never know what to expect from Chelsea, right? I still see this as a game that Arsenal would want to win, considering what's at stake, right? The Premier League title, and they are the Emirates, right? I just don't know what to expect from Sanchez. He may go into this match, rack up some save points, and earn himself 3 points, 4 points. I still don't see Burnley keeping a clean sheet against Brentford anyway. So I do know both my keepers are most likely going to concede. It's just who's going to concede least amount of goals, really. So that's one I'm still looking at. I don't feel like making a goalkeeper transfer right now with the amount of transfers I have planned for my team at the moment. So one of Sanchez or Dubravka is going to start for me in 28, but at the moment it's still Sanchez away at Arsenal. In my defense, I'm doubled up with Timber and Gabriel starting for me. We saw Timber get subbed off before the 60th minute mark. I don't know if that's one to worry about yet, but I do still believe that he's going to get the start for the Chelsea game. So he's starting alongside Gabriel for me in the heart of my defense. My third defender is Munoz away at Manchester United. Like I said, he returned 9 points in the previous game week against Wolves. Manchester United game is a game I feel is going to be a lot tougher, and I do believe Manchester United will score in this game. Now, what I'm going to be looking at is, can Munoz return DEFCON points in back-to-back games, right? And can he get goal returns? He hasn't returned a goal or an assist since returning from injury. So could this be the game we see him begin to get some of those again, right? And in the scenario right now, I've spoken about Liverpool assets. I would really like a Van Dijk, right? Van Dijk has returned 2 double-figure hauls in the past 2 game weeks, 17 points against Sunderland, 11 points against Nottingham Forest, right? And they have West Ham at home, a set that has conceded, I think they're top 3 sides for most goals conceded from set pieces, right? I do really like the prospect of Van Dijk, so I may do a straight swap from Munoz to Van Dijk, honestly. Konate is also a really good option. He's good for DEFCON, but so is Van Dijk, right? And then it just leaves the question of, I could also do Timber to Van Dijk, really, because if I am uncertain of his minutes, I could just do that swap, which then opens another space in the defense to bring in Raya if I do need to double up on the Arsenal defense again. So it's one of those two that I'm currently looking at moving away to bring in a Liverpool defender. But at the moment, Munoz still remains in my team. Into my midfield, I have Bruno Fernandes at home to Crystal Palace. I believe this is a game where he gets back into the goal scoring or goal involvement chart, right? I think he will get something. Crystal Palace have been very shaky defensively. They have Lacroix, who is out injured. The amount of time we're not really sure of right now, but I feel like with the amount of defensive woes they're facing right now, Man U will look to capitalize on that. This could be a really, really high scoring game for Manchester United. Bruno honestly is a really big shout for captaincy this week as well. Currently he's my vice captain going into this game week. Enzo Fernandez is my second midfielder away at Arsenal. Not one I'm keen on going into the game week with. I have a couple of options in mind. I have the likes of Soboslai, who I could bring in directly. I think is a really good differential for the Liverpool assets. He is nailed on minutes. He plays as right back, could play as central mid, could play as a central attacking mid as well for Liverpool, on set pieces as well. And he could just be an explosive differential over the next couple of game weeks. I also have Kevin Shad, the likes of Utara Dango, Ryan of Bournemouth, also on the ropes for that spot. There are a couple of fixtures. The next 3 to next 5 are really, really good. So I could look at moving Enzo to one of them. Wilson is also a really good shout. I did note that I was going to look at bringing him from 29. But, I mean, he's playing Spurs at home. Spurs do need to win that match. But Fulham also would look to, continue the good form, right? They beat Sunderland. They're just the second team to beat Sunderland away from home. So Wilson is also a really good shout. And I think he's on penalties when Jimenez isn't on the field as well. So these are all good shouts at the moment for me for possible Enzo replacements. But I don't know that I'm going to go into this game week with Enzo in my team. So I am going to look at one of these replacements that I have mentioned to bring in for Enzo Fernandez. My third midfielder is Morgan Rogers away at Wolves. Wolves haven't been the best team currently. I think they're the worst Premier League side in a while, right? I think Aston Villa will try to win this game. They know that if they lose this game, they probably drop out of third, move to fourth if Manchester United win their game against Crystal Palace. So this is a must-win game for Aston Villa. Rodgers could possibly turn up in this game and return a double-figure haul. So he's my third midfielder in my team. Mbeumo has returned in back-to-back games with 2 assists in his last 2 games at home to Crystal Palace. Looks to be playing 9 whenever Manchester United start the game. Drifts off to the left wing whenever they bring in Šeško. So I think it's it's been a really good run for him so far. Hopefully he can put in some goals with those assists that he has been returning in the past 2 weeks and return some double figure hauls for us. Semenyo against Leeds is my 5th midfielder going into game week 28, one that I have been really pleased to own so far. He has managed to return a goal or an assist or both, and DEFCON since I brought him into my team, blanking just once since I've had him. So I've been really pleased to own Semenyo so far. He's been like an X factor for City, getting goals, chipping in with assists, ball recoveries as well. And this game against Leeds is going to be a really cagey game. Leeds have been on decent form of recent, and I think this is a game where they would need the likes of Semenyo. So you just look at owning Semenyo, and I've just been really pleased with having him so far since he came to City. I think this game against Leeds could be a high scoring game. I do really see it as a high scoring game, right? And I think he could get, a couple of goals out of this game, really. Leeds have considered a lot of goals from the right hand side, and I think that's where Semenyo has been, played more frequently in recent games for City. So I think owning Semenyo at the moment could be a really great choice, especially for this fixture against Leeds. Now up top I have Erling Haaland away at Leeds as well, who my armband is currently on. He has a decent enough record against them so far, and we did see him. He has returned in his last 2 games, 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 2 games. He hasn't scored a hat-trick yet this season, and I keep on saying it in my videos because I do believe that he will get that hat-trick sooner rather than later this season. We just don't know what game is going to come in. Now City know that they also are fighting for the title, right? And they can't afford to drop points. So these kind of games, we could just see Haaland pick up a first half hat-trick or a first half brace or something like that, right? So I don't know that I want to risk taking the armband off of him. So my armband is currently on him for this fixture away at Leeds. Thiago is my second attacker away at Burnley, which is a really good differential pick if you're looking for someone else to captain other than the likes of Haaland or the likes of Bruno Fernandes or even Morgan Rogers. If you want to go that way, I think Thiago is a really good shout away at Burnley. Burnley have considered the most goals to strikers so far this season. I think Thiago is a really nice differential pick for captaincy this week. Onto my bench, I have Dubravka, who I mentioned earlier, at home to Brentford. Mane is also at home to Aston Villa. We have Mukiele also away at Bournemouth. I don't think he's going to be fit for that fixture, but he is the last player on my bench. And Gudmundsson at home to Manchester City. Now, I've mentioned a couple of transfer ideas I have in mind. I forgot to also mention that I have Florian Wirtz as an option for me, just because I don't want to move up to Ekitike and drop Thiago right at the moment. Brentford have really nice fixtures coming up for them, and I think owning Thiago, who is currently the 2nd highest goal scorer in the Premier League, would be ideal for that fixture run. So I am just looking at going for Florian Wirtz. Fortunately, he got injured in the warm-up before Forest game, but I think he should be back and fit for the West Ham game. So if he is deemed fit, I could look to bring him into my midfield, maybe possibly drop Enzo or Mbemo, right, and bring in Florian Wirtz. But I do really like owning one of the Liverpool midfielders at the moment. So it could be him, it could be Szoboszlai, right, at the end. But my team is as is at the moment. Haaland is my captain, Bruno Fernandes is my vice captain at the moment. This is how my team structure looks like going into Game Week 28. If you have any suggestions or opinions, please do well to leave them in the comment section, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Any questions, I will also attend to them as soon as I can. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next FPL video.